Generals Report. I'm Caleb Dunlop, joined by baseball's Brett Batteford and softball's Rylie Jeau Theriot. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
We started a little bit late. Somebody had to get their nails done.
Wouldn't be.
But hold on, she was also at an internship, and Riley's actually had a couple really interesting internships. First with the governor's office,
yes,
and then now with
the Ninth Judicial Court system.
Interesting.
Yes.
A lot of I'm sure you see a lot of interesting stuff there.
Oh yeah, super fun.
Baseball and softball seasons are now underway. Softball 3-0 after their first weekend, and baseball 3-4 on the season. And so far, the weather has not been kind.
No, it has not.
it has been chilly out there.
Oh yeah, it was freezing on Saturday. It was rough.
Literally, it was.
Yes.
Yeah. I have that great photo of you in the big parka, just kind of all bundled up.
I don't do well in the cold.
I don't think anybody does. That was I really felt bad. I feel bad for the pitchers.
Oh yeah.
It has been rough on the pitchers to be in this cold weather.
No, I'm very proud of them. They actually pitched really well on Saturday, considering.
And on Saturday, softball played Embry-Riddle Aeronautical out of Arizona, who I think left Arizona in like 75-degree weather.
Oh yeah.
To come to Louisiana where it was 32 with a feels like of 16.
Yes, and we had to give them some of our old bats, like old team bats, because they got sent to New York. That was rough.
Jeez.
They
hit 4 home runs with our bats. Not off of us.
No, but it's been cold. Finally, though, we think we're getting some better weather, and baseball's going on the road.
Yeah, finally. Change of scenery there.
A big weekend coming up for both teams. Baseball going to the Cajun Collision in Sterlington, and then softball hosting the General Showdown. Those tournaments are always an interesting part of the season. You get to see some teams that you probably don't see throughout the regular season a chance to baseball's going to see Dakota State, Hastings. Dakota State obviously out of South Dakota, and Hastings I think out of Nebraska. What's it like seeing some teams that you don't have regular acquaintances with?
Well, the main thing is it's good to see different types of teams that you're not used to playing, because during the season you're gonna play your conference matchups, which are teams that are from around here, and we all kind of have a similar play style. And like Coach Goat told us, a lot of the teams we're playing this weekend is probably the first time they're going to touch grass for this season. A lot of these teams haven't had an opening day yet. We're going to be kind of their first games of the season, I think, except one is what he said. So, that brings another element of excitement to it, because their energy is going to be up because it's game one for them. So we got to match it and exceed it. So that's always fun to play a team where it's their first time playing.
I think we're definitely going to face some maybe a little bit harder competition this weekend, really test our limits with William Carey. William Carey's always a fun game. We always play them in this tournament this year. It's really nice when we beat them, because I think for the past 2 years in a row, we beat them, and it really sets the tone that, like, we're competing with the top 25 teams. We're, setting the record straight that we're there, you know what I mean? So that's always fun when you get that so early on in the season.
And for baseball going to Sterlington, it's been kind of a tradition to go to Sterlington, just like softball goes down to Gulf Shores a little bit later in the season. What's that like to go spend, a full weekend with the team away from home, not really trapped in a hotel, but, it's a chance for some of the newer guys, some of the returners to kind of gel on the road?
Specifically for Monroe, it's really cool. We don't know about this year. Some things are up in the air right now, but years past, the Cajun Collision has always been an opportunity to get used to the elements of Sterlington Sports Complex, because, sometimes it rains there at the end of the year, and a lot of times you don't get that pregame BP on the field like you normally do at home or even at away places. You get 10, 15 minutes in the cages, and you're kind of having to go fast. That's something you got to get used to. And so going there at the beginning of the year kind of sets you up and prepares you for that conference tournament at the end of the year, because it's crunch time in May, and you don't have the opportunity to, we're dealing with adversity because we didn't get our full pregame BP, so that's why we played bad. No, you got to get that out the way at the beginning of the year, so when it comes time for conference tournament, you're ready. And so doing this every year. like we have. So.
And you're from Monroe.
I am a Monroe native, so it's also cool being close to home and having my people be able to come watch a game and have a familiar place, because I've been playing there since 8th grade when they actually built those fields. So it's cool to see how they've built it up. It was dirt in the outfield when I first played there, so now it's actually grass, and it's they got actual batting cages out there and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see.
I grew up playing in Maine in Maine's Little League. It was a double field. So you had baseball on the side that we played on, and then softball on the far side, no center field fence. So if you just hit it into the gap, it was run for days.
Playing at Polo Ground.
It was a lot of fun, yeah. And for softball, you get on Gulf Shores later this year.
Yes.
That's always a trip.
Yes. No, that one's always a fun trip. We do it a little different. We don't really stay in a hotel. We stay in a giant beach house, so we're all together. It's really, really fun, and we always take it as a big opportunity to do like a big team bonding thing for 4 days. You're stuck in a house with all the same girls. It's always a wonderful tournament that we go to. We face some really, really good competition early on in the season. We purposely chose it again this year. We had the option to go play somewhere else that was in like the middle of nowhere, and we were like, no, this is our like thing, it's become our thing with especially all of our seniors. We've been there for 3 years in a row now, 4 for some, but it's just kind of something that we really, really enjoy about our season. We all look forward to going to Gulf Shores for that tournament. We all look forward to going to the beach together when we have time, maybe. So I think it's going to be really fun.
Time.
Yes, we make time. We do go.
You actually mentioned that both of you were seniors playing in your final collegiate season. What's it been like? You've both been here, quite a few years. What's it been like, the growth for the programs for you? What's some of the biggest changes in yourselves and the programs?
I think you might have a better story of since you've been here, but for me, I came in, had some injuries that carried over from my senior year of high school. I had a torn labrum and a AC sprain and stuff like that. So when I got here, I was very far behind, got redshirted. I took that first year to get healthy, get bigger, get stronger. I put on about 15, 20 pounds in my first year and a half here. And, I just really took those first couple years of being here and getting healthy to really understand the things that Coach Goat and everyone was trying to push here and create a standard here at this program. And I just took that and accepted some of the leadership from the older guys that were here, because for my first few years, we had guys that had been here since they won conference, and they'd been here for 4 or 5 years. So I went under their leadership and guidance and took that into some of the experiences. Sorry, can we cut that out?
You're live.
Sorry, I'm rambling here. But anyways, my point was I took those first years of being behind for the first time in my life in a sport, and I used that to be a better teammate and become a better leader. So that way now, the past couple of years, I've gotten some chances to play, and now I know what it's like to not be in those positions. And so I'm more appreciative when I get them. And so it's easier to rally behind my guys and get guys to rally behind me,
Definitely. I had it a little bit different. I've not been here since my freshman year. I had a little rough time before I got here. However, this became home very quickly. I came in on Coach Trent's actual first year too. So we've been here together for the past 3 years, all through it. And then my first season here, I broke my arm. So I really lost it the first season. But that was another trial, and how I handled that really showed me that, this is home. Everyone thought I was going to fall off the deep end after my history, but I really rallied behind my team. We had a good group of girls my first year, super good group, and I felt driven to get back really quickly, get back better, come back better next year, because I knew we were getting some transfers in. That was going to be another really good season. So how I handled that showed me that this place became home, how Coach Trent let me handle that. And, he really prioritizes mental health. So, if you need a day, if you need a week, whatever it is, he wants you to take care of yourself first before softball ever comes. And having that kind of mindset as a coach really, really is foundational. It makes sure that your team is showing up with the right attitude, giving 110%. They're not coming giving 50% because they got other stuff going on in their personal life or whatever. So watching watching the influx of transfers come in and new girls and freshmen. I think we had 11 freshmen this year. Whew, that's a lot. But
17 new players overall.
17 new players overall. They all buy in when they come, because it's really hard to not buy into people who care about you that much, who care about your mental health, who care about your school, who care about every single aspect. And I think that's what drives us to be so successful, because we are allowed to show up when we are 110%. We do not have to be all softball. He really makes us believe in our outside life, our career life. That's why I'm able to do these internships. I'm doing it in the middle of season, for this one that I'm doing at the courthouse. It's been becoming a really great program, and he's really creating a great foundation here. And I think he's gonna last for a little while longer. I won't see it, but I'm proud.
You can always come back.
Yeah,
it's not like once you leave, you can't ever come back.
I'll come watch a couple games.
Like I was joking with Brett earlier. He's gonna, a couple years from now, he's gonna come back for an alumni game.
Oh yeah.
And these kids are gonna walk out, of a clubhouse and a locker room fully dressed. We didn't have that back in my day.
Yeah, no, I know. I feel old saying that. No, we don't get the pleasure of all that. Both of us really, really walked into a program that was building from the ground up. I mean, Goat came in. Was it your freshman year or the year before you?
I want to say he was an assistant the 2 years before me, and the year before he became the head coach in that one conference. I believe that. That's
and there were some issues with our sports programs before they got here. So all of the programs have been really building from the ground up, and we've been here for almost all of it.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see.
And like I told you earlier, Caleb, I think the thing I'm most proud of coming to LSUA was on my visit. I'll never forget. Coach Goat was taking me to the field, and he's pointing at stuff, and he's like, hey, like, we may not have everything right now, but I promise you, by the time you're done here, you will look around and you will see things that you and your teammates helped put together while you were here. And I think when I was there, we had just put the roof over the batting cages, but stuff like we didn't have a press box. The first couple games that when I was a redshirt, we had a tent and a white this table right here, and a tent that we were doing the scoreboard and announcing and doing the walk-up music and everything like that, and then we got the press box. So
I'm very thankful for
that. Yeah, I bet you are. I mean, things like that, like small steps that we take every year is what helps build this program, and I think that's what I'm most proud of, is I can come back and be like, hey, we didn't always have it like this, and I was part of that. We were part of that. Mm-hmm. So
we mentioned it. Both rosters with a very big incoming class. Both rosters are big. Baseball up around 42, 43. Softball's at like 32 this year. As seniors, as leaders on the team, obviously you can only play 9, maybe 10 at a time with designated hitter or the DP. So how do you help those newer players, the younger players, understand, like, hey, you're gonna have a role. It may not be what you like or want at this stage, but you have a role. If you give 100% in that role, good things come later.
Right. It's definitely something that guys in college are probably new to, because if you're playing college ball, you are most likely either the best or one of the best players on your team your whole life. So when these new guys come in and they don't get an opportunity at first, I think one of the biggest things I try to preach is, hey, it's a long season. You don't know what can happen. You don't know who can get hot, who can get cold. I think that's what last year honestly taught me, was that the season is so long and so unpredictable that you can go from not sniffing the field to, hey, all of a sudden coach gives you an opportunity, you take it, you get hot, and you never come off the field. And so I think that's the biggest message I try to preach, is like, hey, don't ever give up on yourself, and don't ever let your lack of playing time diminish how you treat your teammates and how you support them, because I promise you, this game comes back to bite you when you don't treat it the right way. So always back your teammates up, because I promise you, when you're put in that position where you got the opportunity, you want your whole team behind you because you can feel it.
Yeah, we definitely prioritize that and focus on that. I think a lot of girls coming in kind of know what this program's about, especially with the history. We've had 2 regionals back-to-back and stuff like that, and we're hoping to get another bid this year. So they know what they're coming into. They know what we got. So they already have a predisposed mindset. But us knowing as leaders that we don't have to show up every day knowing that, showing up every day and helping them, because, we have 5-6 seniors this year, we know we're leaving. We know we want to like have a legacy here. So we take those younger girls in that come in and we teach them specifically what we know, what we do. So our team, we specifically like split up into like outfield group, infield group, pitchers, catchers, stuff like that. So, and there's a senior in each group. So they're able to lead the freshmen, the newcomers, all that through what this program means to us and really enforce it into them. Even in the weight room, Coach Trent does this hilarious little thing where he pairs groups like that. So like the shortstop, Haley Fontenot, and then he'll pair a freshman shortstop coming in the weight room, and they're terrified. They're like, oh my God, I get paired with the All-American, like terrified. And then we show up at 6 a.m. every morning together, and you work through it. You help them through weights and stuff like that. That one-on-one contact, especially with somebody who plays your position, been where you've been, and you're going to be where she's going to be one day. It's very, very helpful in connecting. And then by the time season comes, we built these really close relationships and bonds with the people that when they get that opportunity, I mean, I think last Saturday we got our freshman shortstop in and she made a play. When I tell you the dugout roared so loud for her because that was her first collegiate play. Like, that is what it means to all of us. And that might be her only time seeing the field this season. Probably not. We really, really rotate in because he wants to give those people that experience, especially their freshman year, their sophomore year, their incoming year, to where when they do get their opportunity, their junior, their senior year, they're prepared. They're ready for it. They're ready to step into that role. And we make sure that mentally they are also prepared.
Changing gears a little bit, it's National Girls and Women in Sports Day.
Is it really? That's crazy.
It is. The irony of having two men on this is not lost on me. It's not. But I figured we could talk a little bit about women in sports that have inspired us and over our years. And we'll start with you.
Funnily enough, when I was younger, I did not watch women in sports. I did not watch softball. I was a baseball fan. My dad I played baseball all growing up. That's the reason I became a catcher. And it wasn't until I really got to college and I started playing around women that I really started to appreciate the art of it, what we go through every day, what the unique challenges that we have to face as women with our hormones, just anything like that. Different career paths. I mean, we have had like 2 nurses on our team, and a coach just lets them go do their clinicals. He lets them do paths like that. So, I mean, by the time I got to college, there was Savannah Janquish at LSU. I mean, I became a big fan because I think she was like a 3-time or 4-time All-American behind the plate. She was phenomenal. And then it was the big Oklahoma, we're going for a 4-peat, 5-peat happening all throughout my college year. So it really, really got me invested in watching softball. Last year, I watched Carolyn Pickens throw the fastest pitch ever thrown. I don't even know if I could face 79 in the box. I think I I don't know what I'd do, but I might run away from the box if 78 was coming at me. So I really grew to appreciate the women around me, and watching more women's sport as I got older. They got more popular too as I got older. So yeah, I think I have a lot of people that I look up to, but when I was younger, I did look up to a lot of baseball players. I did.
Growing up in Maine, we always had a couple girls that preferred to play baseball over the youth softball, and they played with us until they got to, we called it like the senior league, and that was like roughly high school age, and they'd switch over to softball. Yeah, like where I'm from, it's such a small town that we really didn't have a youth softball league. We really didn't have that for the youth, so your only option was baseball. If I wanted to play, that's what I had to play. You know what I mean? They didn't have good coaches. They didn't have good staff. They didn't have good players around you. And by the time I got old enough to like not play baseball anymore and I had to transition to softball, I had to play travel. There was no youth league. So I think actually we should put a little bit more emphasis on our youth or young girls, because they need a little bit more guidance from older women. I feel like I didn't really get that guidance until I got to college. And that's an interesting aspect of it too, that in women's sports it is changing, which is good. Yes. But it's still a male dominated field in coaching, especially in certain sports, softball being one of them. But even if you look at the NHL, which is obviously a men's league. Yes. The PWHL is doing a great job. Actually, Hillary Knight, who plays for the captain of the Boston Fleet, she's about to go to the Olympics as the American captain. But the Jessica Campbell was hired by now fired Greg Bilsma, to be the assistant coach at the Seattle Kraken. She's the first woman to be in an NHL coaching position. The San Francisco 49ers had a women's linebacker coach. So it is starting to change, and I do agree with you. I think it is important for girls to have...
To start it young, have that connection early. It allows you to understand the dynamics of women and what women's sports brings to the table.
And as you mentioned, there are unique things that are unique to women that we don't have to deal with. I know, growing up, there wasn't, the WNBA was a thing. There were a couple women's softball leagues on and off, but I really like what Athletes Unlimited has done with both softball and volleyball. I mean, unfortunately, it was right around COVID when it kind of got started, but I thought their initial... the kind of every week going out, having a backyard draft where players would earn points based on how they did, as well as, their team's performance. And they would go out every week and draft players. And it was always like Kat Osterman. She always had the number one pick because she was just dominating.
Yes.
And like the 1 or 2 weeks that she wasn't, she always picked her catcher. She had her battery mate. That was the first overall pick. That's who she was going to get. And so the 1 or 2 weeks that she wasn't the team captain and got the number one pick, they'd always pick her catcher. Whoever was the number, like, no, that's it. We're breaking that up for a week. Like, we're not gonna do that. But they're actually transitioning, I think, for this coming season into city-based, more traditional styled season.
Yes, I knew that was coming because they finally, it's still Athletes Unlimited, but they finally signed like team names, colors, and stuff like that, so you can really rally behind them. And now I think they're starting to put them in cities to where people can really want to watch. With the whole I think the whole Oklahoma thing started it. People were loving college softball, and then these girls were graduating, but they wanted to keep watching them. They were phenomenal. What's her name? Jocelyn, maybe, the big hitter who broke all the home run records and stuff like that. They wanted to keep watching that. So starting that whole league and then really making it and building it to what it's becoming today is really awesome. And I got to watch it my whole college career. So it's really inspirational. It's like, I mean, maybe not. I'll do that one day, but at least I'll get to watch it and I'll get to show like my children one day, my girls, this is what you can become. This is what we now have today, and that's something I didn't really get the privilege of when I was growing up.
I was actually quite upset this summer. They were down, I don't know what complex in Louisiana. Of course, I'm geographically challenged. Still in Louisiana. I've been here just a year and a half. I have no idea where anything is. But they were, Athletes Unlimited came down and played a quick round robin somewhere in Louisiana.
I think it was Lafayette.
It may have been, and I was kind of upset because had I known, I absolutely would have gone, and I got a chance to see Sis Bates because she was going to be playing down there. I got a chance to see her when I was at Central Washington. We went over for a quick fall tournament with softball, and they played the game before us, so we got there, and we go to their field house, and, we're 4 hours before our game, so a couple before theirs, and, UW softball walks in, like all of our girls were like, whew. And then I got to go take photos during their game, and I have like 20 photos of Sis Bates. So I was like, she's incredible. It was incredible to watch some of the fastest hands I've ever seen.
It's just, I know we play NAIA and our girls are good. Hell, some of our girls can easily go D1. I mean, I came from a D1. Haley Fondo came from a D1. You come to the school because you want more playing time. You want possibly better academics. You want more focus on that and not so much just the sport itself. That's why you come to places like this, and they're great programs. But I remember walking into LSU locker room whenever I was at Southern, and I looked up, and there were all the 6'1" girls around me, and I was like, oh, this is scary. I was like, y'all are big. I was like, I'm not that big. I was like, I get it now. Y'all go do your thing.
And Brett and I were talking before you got here, because I had mentioned it was Girls, Women in Sports Day, so I was like, hey, just think of some women that you might have watched. And
well, the main one, honestly, and don't laugh at me, but growing up, my mother was actually she was a college athlete. She ran track in college. She played basketball in high school and stuff like that. And so we laugh every time I would do something involved with my speed. She would always look at me and be like, "You're welcome." And so we joke that I get my speed from my mother. And she was also a yoga instructor for the longest when I was a little kid. Now she's a teacher. But so my mom is one of the most inspirational female athletes that I've got to be around and see and stuff like that. And but besides that, at a professional level, I love what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have done for the WNBA. I think that's fascinating because say what you will. Growing up, I didn't know anything about WNBA. As a guy, I really wasn't a basketball guy anyways. But now that they've brought so much attention to it, it's like I feel like you could go out and anyone knows anything about the WNBA now. I think that's great what they've done for the sport. You need more exposure like that.
It's also interesting too, and it took you and I were talking Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, that women's sports allowed certain conversations to be had that were considered completely verboten on the men's side, specifically mental health. When Simone Biles opted out, when Naomi Osaka opted out, it created these conversations that, at least on the men's side, we were not willing to have about mental health. And I was telling Brett that being a New Englander, grew up watching a lot of hockey, still a huge hockey fan. The Bruins aren't very good right now, but we're still in a playoff spot anyway. Growing up, it's a very tough sport. It's a very tough culture. You go out, you get your teeth knocked in day out, and you just accept it. And there's no real room to maneuver in that mental health space. And that conversation that they have started and brought to the forefront trickles into the men's sports. Like, no, it's okay to not be okay. You can talk about it. You can discuss it. And I think in a very different atmosphere, the marketing of sports has changed tremendously since the exposure of women's collegiate and women's professional sports has gotten bigger, because for the men for so long, and again I'll go back to hockey and baseball because those are the two that I grew up watching, but also are most notorious for it. With hockey, when you interview a player, it's always get pucks in deep, we got to win the tight battles in the corner, we just got to put shots on net, we're playing hard, we're playing physical. That's every interview for 80 years in hockey. Baseball is, we've got to put good swings on the ball. My teammate went out there, put a couple good, pitchers did well. It's very boring.
Yes.
And there was never anything about players' lives or who they were. But on the women's side, it felt like we were getting to know them as people, not just as number 9 on the U.S. women's national team. And I think like Alona Maher, when she was at the Olympics for rugby, the women's rugby team media storm was unreal. And getting to know those players as people, I think it changes the exposure. It changes how you become a fan of a sport and of a team. Because I grew up in New England, Boston's right there. And you knew Boston, Nomar, Pedro, because they're on the team, you're born into it, you grow into it. But with the women's side, it feels like I'm rooting for specific individuals, and then it just grows into, oh, I like that team now because 10 of them play there.
Yes, definitely. On the mental health aspect, both of us are psych majors. So we really, really love that it's being opened up to, care about it, know about it, fix it, get it addressed, go talk to somebody. We're really, really big advocates on therapy. For a long time, you wanted to be a sports psychologist, and I wanted to work in clinical work and stuff like that. We've changed our paths a little bit, but for the longest time, it's like we know what it's like to deal with the heartbreak from a sport, both of us. We know what it's like to go through that almost career-ending injury, but don't make it a career-ending injury. We know what it's like to go through those trials and tribulations, and they matter. They can really, really mess you up if you don't go seek that help. So I really do love that women's sports is making it more aware, and the mental health crisis with men, it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be more open. There's no issue with having problems. You just got to go talk about them. Talk therapy is wonderful. I'm a big advocate. Go to therapy. Everyone needs to be in therapy.
And it's not even just, like, obviously depression, anxiety, absolutely go to therapy. But with sports psychology specifically, especially baseball, softball, the yips there's that phenomenal, Steve Sachs had the yips for the LA Dodgers. I can't remember who the shortstop was, but they asked him, what are you thinking out there? And he said, please, dear God, don't let him hit it to Steve, and don't let him hit it to me. Because, Sachs couldn't field. You had Knobloch, who couldn't throw across from second to first.
Yeah.
Jared Saltalamacchia couldn't throw back to the pitcher. And it isn't just the major stuff. It's, hey, how do we fix the yips from a psychological standpoint? Can we get out of a slump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
from a psychological standpoint.
This is a sport of failure, and that's why both of us are big advocates for it, because when you face failure every day, like you're facing it at practice every day, it takes a toll. And a lot of people like to ignore the toll, but then that's how you get to places like having the yips mid-season. I went through a little bit this fall, and I had the yips with my throw. I would sail every ball to center field behind the plate, and Coach was like, "What is happening?" And I'm like, "Coach, I don't know." I don't know what's happening. And it's just like something you face, and it's like, it's my senior year. You wouldn't even think that I would get that. I'm gonna get playing time. I'm gonna get these opportunities and stuff like that. And it happens. It happens to everybody. It happens to anybody at any time in their life at any point. And it just, the more you quiet it down, the more you shove it down, the more it's gonna bite you. You know what I mean? Brett said it earlier. This sport will come back. Baseball and softball guys, they like to play games.
They're very fickle.
They love to play some games on you. But I think the whole NIL thing, I know there's some issues with that. Some people have issues, some people don't. But I think NIL in women's sports specifically has helped that connection that you were talking about earlier. It has helped people want to get to know somebody. I mean, Livy Dunn on Instagram and TikTok, it gets people interested. Mayor, the rugby player, she's big. I mean, she did Dancing with the Stars. You get to know these people on a connection level. I hope to see within the next coming years we start to see more baseball, football, all those sports get more connected on apps like that, because it gets you invested. I mean, the Indiana quarterback this year, everybody loves him. He has a great personality, but it's because he's showed people and he's allowed people to see that side of him. So then by the end of season, by championship game, everyone's rooting for him. You know what I mean? I think that creates a big thing in the fan base. It brings in more money. It brings in more watchers, more viewers, things like that. So it's honestly done amazing things for both women and men's sports.
I think that's a great place to leave it. We've been at it for 32 minutes.
Yep. That's what they tell me on the field. I talk too much.
No, I thought it's conversation. We're having fun.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Allegedly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on and spending a half hour with us. And
yes.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Caleb Dunlop for Brett Batteford, Rylie, Jeau, Theriot. Have a good day.